What that means is unconventional. Been in the game of you, so comprehend what I'ma give to you. Cause in the instant you can turn your hustle to an institute. I can't stop, I'm on top because I'm convention not. Immaculate how I be rapping it. When I be spitting, you know that you loving it. Covered it, nothing above it, so you could go run with it. Now let's get back to it. Back to the basics. Carving out spaces. Practice patience for situations and all vibrations. I want all my eyes can see and I'ma beat you there. I aim for variety like a sneakerhead. I'm game ready, keeping that thing steady. Climbing over the dragon. Now who wanna bang with me? Will you grow and change with me? Go through the same with me. For those that don't grow, they known to remain shifty. I'm working with all I got, so when you see me, you know what I'm about.
What's up, everybody? Thanks so much for tuning in. What if I told you that you were on track to make $90,000 a year as a computer engineer, but you dropped out of college because it wasn't for you and you wanted to pursue your passion? Well, that's what Dani Merritt did. Not only is she today's guest, but she's the founder and CEO of Elusion Clothing Company. But don't get it twisted. This is no illusion. Dani is an example of what hard work and dedication will bring you. Enjoy the show.
Dani, bear with me because your bio is much more impressive. I'm going to be brief here. I just want to do a proper introduction so they know who we're talking to. Okay. Today with us on Convention Not, we have Dani Merritt. Dani is the founder, owner of Elusion Clothing. And to be honest, that is the majority of what I know about Dani. So I would much rather her expand on her, like I said, impressive bio and background. If you wouldn't mind saying hello, Dani. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I am the owner of Elusion, co-owner now. We have two other owners now. One of the Chiefs players, the Kansas City Chiefs. They just invested and he's an owner now. So I own the brand. And then I am also a board member at a small college in Cleveland, in Lakewood, actually. It's called North Coast College. And it is it's like an arts and media school. So basically, I just help come up with the curriculum for the year for the students and things like that. And they also do internships for us. I do that. And then I'm a wife and to a husband. We've been married for 7 years now. 7 years. We've been together for 18. And I am also a gamer.
I know that game.
The marriage game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm a gamer. Big time. Big time.
I was going to say, I know the marriage game, but I'm very new into the gaming world. Yeah. So I'm really glad you shared that with us.
I'm a big time gamer. I'm a nerd. He kind of got me into it, like the comic books. And I was gaming before I met him. That's kind of how we fell in love. But, he's got me reading comic books now, watching the shows. I'm addicted to every comic show, Marvel, DC,
I love it.
Everything. So, yeah, that's pretty much.
Are you getting the new PS5 or the new Xbox?
I already got the PS5 reserved. We were lucky.
Oh, okay, reserved.
Yeah. I don't have. I'm not that expensive. No.
I was like, whoa. No, you're switching the episode here.
No, but we got it reserved. We were lucky. Yeah.
So this is. I don't know if Dani, if you knew, you may have probably just placating me here, but we just did an episode a few back on like gamers. Yeah. I didn't call it like on gaming because I know nothing. I just wanted to get a couple people on the show that are like, I'll be honest, I didn't say it during the show, but I was like, normal ass people in their grown up lives that have real jobs that game all the time. And what I learned is like, Mike, you're the weirdo, man. Like this isn't being done in dark dungeons. Yeah. Like this is everyone's into it. And you just identified yourself as a business owner, a professor, a wife,
and a gamer.
That was your fourth
Absolutely.
ID. I love it because it's the whole reason why I wanted to talk about it on the show is because to me, it was a language that I was completely oblivious to before. But like, y'all just started talking about it right away. And I don't want to be in the conversation, but I can follow along at least.
It's fun. Once you get into it, you find what you love. Because the games aren't really made for some of them are made for kids, and we don't play that, like Fortnite. You know, I play that sometimes with some of the kids that I know that I mentor. But most of the time, we're playing the NBA 2Ks, Madden. That stuff's for adults. You know, kids can't really play a lot of these games, especially the strategy games. And the espionage.
All right, we're about to play a game, and we're playing a game of 2K. Who are you selecting? Who's your squad?
When I play 2K,
you never played me. I've never played you. So who you gonna go with?
I don't go with the Lakers. That's who everybody likes to pick.
That's a sign of a true gamer.
Exactly.
Right there.
I was going to say, because they're too loaded, right? Like anyone can win with that. Okay.
Sometimes I play with the Cavs. Sometimes.
Whoa.
Yeah. Sometimes. I mean, I really know the game. You know, I played basketball in school, so I really know, the fundamentals of basketball. So I can play with anybody, honestly.
I can't play with anybody.
I was going to say, Chris, who's your go-to? Like
usually the Portland Trailblazers.
Oh, yeah.
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 It's a team that's not like too dominant, but, you know, they got some star power too. So
yeah.
Isn't 2K the one, though, where it's like you have to kind of learn just how to control your players before you even are playing that? Like, I couldn't just pick up that game and be playing, like, be competent in it right away, right? Like, it's not NBA.
I mean, if you know basketball, you could. You know, if you know the fundamentals.
Really? I mean, yeah, because I've been...
Yeah.
Okay.
Passing, defense, shooting. As long as you know that, you're good.
Well, they're definitely starting to expand it beyond like just the world of like a court, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know if it's the most recent one, but you know, like there's like the playground style. And like, I just read something today, how the newest NFL one coming out has like a playground of, you know, a field style football. And they're going to put that on Antetokounmpo's in it. You know, like Giannis and his brothers are all going to be in the newest like version of Madden. And it's just, you know, it's expanded beyond anything we see on TV.
To me, that version is more for kids. That yard version.
Yeah, like the arena.
Yeah, it's backyardish. It's cool, but you know, if you're a fan of the sport, you know, you kind of want to play it how it is on TV. At least for me.
For sure.
But yeah, we were supposed to have our clothes in Madden because we're really cool with the program developer at Madden. But
that gives us a real perfect transition to like. So again, you just touched upon the company, and we're going to talk about that a lot today, Dani. But I guess I can't help but identify the reality that like you just, you know, humbly mentioned that the clothing line that you started in your living room was agreed to be featured on Madden. Whether or not it's there or not, like to me, all I'm pointing out is like you made it, girl. Like you made it. Your company made
Thank
it.
You.
So I'm super into being like, how'd you get here? Because I see how good it is now, but I want to hear a little bit about like, no, man, this wasn't laid out for you.
No.
I mean, maybe it was. You haven't told me your story yet, but I don't feel like it was a real clear cut and dry path. First and foremost, can you and Chris share a little bit? Like, I didn't find you on Google. Like you and Chris know each other from
high school.
High school. I remember Dani just growing up in Cleveland Heights.
Okay.
So my cousin lived in Cleveland Heights before I moved to Cleveland Heights, and he just kind of got me acclimated to the neighborhood. So I remember seeing Dani just around, just growing up. And geez, I wasn't even going to bring this up, but Dani, there's this memory that I have of you where I'm not even sure. I don't even know what happened because I think I just got to the party late. Okay. Mm-hmm. But like, you know, you had these cornrows. That's where I remember.
Yeah.
And you had just beat somebody. Some boy. But I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, note to myself, never mess with her. Okay. I don't know. It's just a memory that I have. And I felt like it was on the corner of, our viewers won't know, but it's like on the corner of like Silsby and I think that's Meadowbrook.
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
that was my hangout area.
Right down in that area.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Somebody got it. Yeah. Somebody got it, though. Somebody got it.
You know, the list is so long of guys that I beat up as a kid. Who knows what day that was, but it's accurate. It sounds accurate.
Yeah, a lot of stripes.
Yeah, unfortunately, I grew up a tomboy, whole bunch of brothers. I'm the only girl, so you know how that goes. You know, it's just nothing tough my whole life.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that honestly, it's a funny but pretty like illuminating picture, man, because I knew some Dannies in my life too. And I don't know if it's a function of just growing up in that environment, but those figures in my experience I've been endeared to them. Usually, A, they weren't beating me up. That's always a big pro. B, some of my own sisters were that way. I'm the youngest of 5, Dani, but I have 3 sisters. Wow. And yeah, like 2 of them played college sports. So we didn't even call it a tomboy in my house. That was just how girls acted.
Right.
You know, and like they whooped some ass and you know, my brother definitely had his big sisters come around more than once and take care of shit. So like, I don't know if you grow up in a real like posh, fancy area, if that's a scary thing. But to me, Skrilla, he didn't get into the details or anything like that, but he may have mentioned that well after, you know, introducing you as the owner of the company. And I was just like, oh, as if I wasn't sold already. Yeah. No, I want Dani. I want Dani on no matter what. I'm coming into that interview. So Cleveland Heights.
Yeah.
Cleveland Heights is that like huge? Like is that just a little pocket of Cleveland? Like, are we talking a couple 100,000 people?
I think it's like 54,000 residents now.
Oh, so that's not big.
It's not big, but it's very family oriented. It's a Jewish community predominantly now, but all
right.
I grew up here. I don't predominantly live here. I live in California as well, but when I am home, Cleveland Heights is the city that I chose. Although I'm looking at other cities now. I'm just tired of being here at this point. You know, I went to school here. I can't even walk my dog without somebody like, Dani, is that you? You know, this and this and that. So that kind of gets annoying after a while. So I think I'm ready to go. Plus, Lamar Odom lives here. Lamar Odom. Yeah, I know that's random.
Cleveland Heights?
I know that's random.
Oh.
My husband was just in Family Dollar earlier, and Lamar Odom was in there. No joke. And this is like the 8th time we've seen him. So he lives here at this point. It's crazy.
At this point, is Lamar Odom being in your neighborhood? Is that a good or a bad? Like, I'm not giving my opinion on it, but I'm just curious. Is that like he was in the NBA for a long time.
Yeah, it's just weird that he's here. You know what I mean? Like, you go from Calabasas to Cleveland Heights. It's kind of it's weird.
Yeah, like how do you end up in Cleveland Heights? Like where does Chappelle live in Ohio? What is it called?
Cincinnati,
Yellow Springs.
I think. Yeah.
How did he end up there? Is that where his wife was from?
I know Lamar Odom's fiance does live in Cleveland Heights, so he probably just said, "I'll just go with you." You know what I mean?
Some kind of connection, right? Well, the reason why I asked about like Cleveland Heights,
walking his dog, you know.
I feel bad to say this out loud, but like seeing an NBA player, any NBA, seeing a 7-foot tall man is odd. Like and then when you're like, holy crap, that's the pro. If anything, it's like when you see a 7-foot tall man and he's not a basketball player, that's probably less common.
Yeah, it is. But my husband is 6'7".
Oh man,
my husband is 6'7", so he's always asked, does he play for the Browns?
That is a big man.
But then Lamar Odom comes.
6'7" is
he's taller than him, and it's like
shrimpy.
Jeez.
I'm 6'2", Dani, and if I'm around someone like 6'5", I'm just like, whoa. How do you even like go through life this tall? So yeah, your husband, I would be like, you are so cute. He's a couple inches taller than me, but yeah, that's the reason why I brought up Cleveland Heights is I'm just like, how do you go from being that girl? And we can break this up into a couple chunks, but like, how'd you get into clothing? Like, how did you go? Like, was there any sort of initial mentor, or like, did you stumble into that? Like, how did you get into this world? What was the first day where you were like, I want to either do this for me or make some money doing it?
I started off drawing, and I had a little comic strip because I grew up in a very dysfunctional household. It was a lot of arguing, a lot of fighting, alcoholism, abuse. That stuff was going on. So drawing and art, that was my outlet. And I had created like a little, almost like a comic book type of thing that I had going on. And in that, you know, I would draw characters and they would always have on clothes. And I would put them at first in like Ralph Lauren or Tommy Hilfiger or something like that. And then I said, well, what if I just did it, you know, put my own stuff on them? And I started doing that. And then I kind of fell in love with it in college. I went to Toledo University, which is in Northwest Ohio. And I was a computer engineer major. So I'm in the middle of class, you know, learning how to code. And I'm just like, I don't want to do this, you know. And I started looking up how to do a brand and things like that. And that's where I kind of fell in love with it. That was 2001. And I just kept going, kept learning whatever little videos they had on the internet. I would buy them, you know, anything I could find, because I didn't know what fashion school was at that time. So I just knew I wanted to make clothes. Whoa. And I knew there was always a way to do it. I just had to find out how. So I kind of went the, you know, underground route to get here. Just weird.
No, that's why I'm so like, I have like 10 questions, but I'm going to do my best to not throw those all at you at once. Cause the second you mention a comic strip, I'm like in this like superhero, like Marvel universe. And then you just explained your, you know, origin story of sorts. And I'm just like, okay, so, and bear with me here. I've just got an image in my mind. Are we talking like you're basically diarizing, you know, via illustration as like a middle schooler, or was that like high school years?
I mean, you started drawing in 5th grade.
Okay, so that was just always a hobby of yours.
To do it and was really good at it without, you know, having to be taught or anything like that. So I just kept going with it. Okay, you know, having all that time in a dysfunctional setting, you know, I had to have an escape. So that for me was my, you know, that was my escape. That was my getaway. Put the headphones on, get the pencils, and just start drawing. It saved my life, honestly.
So you go to college.
Well, all right, yeah, Chris, please.
And then what happens next? You decide, hey, I don't want to do this. Then what? Was there
I dropped out
moment that happened?
I dropped out.
Really?
Yeah, I did. Well, I came back home and I went locally to Tri-C, Cuyahoga Community College, just to please my mother, who was just so hell-bent on college. You know, it was all I knew. She just embedded it into my brain. So I just went for her.
You came home from university and she was heartbroken, right? You're like, all right, Mal.
She so was.
I'm going to get a degree, chill out.
Which I never got, by the way. But but I just did it to satisfy her. I really didn't even want to be there at the time. My goal was to do this brand. And then I met my husband in 2002, and he was a co-signer, like, yeah, let's do this. So that's all I needed. And I kept going from there. So, yep.
Wow.
I gotta know, Dani, like, how come, and this is for you to point a finger at someone else, but like, girl, it sounds like you were probably a pretty impressive artist, even, you know, as a high schooler. How did you find yourself at Toledo University studying the furthest thing from art? Like, I'm an engineer, just to be clear, so I feel like I can criticize engineering, but like, dude, you were, who pushed you in that direction?
Well, here's the thing. I first started taking computers apart at home, along with the drawing and things like that. I would open computers and learn how, you know, to navigate the motherboard, learn how to put in new CD-ROM drives, new hard drives, things like that. I kind of fell in love with that too. So when I went to college, I just went, you know, I wanted to follow something that was on something that I loved. And I liked computer engineering at that time. So, you know, I just wanted to go into that field. But, you know, I remember sitting in those classes saying, I know that this isn't what I want to do long term. So I just pulled out, especially when you're spending your own money. And that's something I didn't find out until I was in school. I'm like, wait a minute, this is my money?
Oh, no. Yeah, they drop that invoice on you way before you get any kind of diploma, any kind of knowledge, anything. Like, you're just like, I haven't even put curtains up yet, and I'm already getting bills from the university.
I started doing the math, and I'm like, wait a minute. So 4 years in, I'll be this much in debt? I said, absolutely not. I had to drop out immediately because not only was I going to do something that I didn't want to do, I'd be in debt, a whole lot of debt. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I didn't want to have that already down mentality, you know, coming out of college had I went 4 years, owing money already, coming from a dysfunctional home. You know, I just didn't want that on my back. So I left.
Is this a generational thing? Like, because we all feel that. All I take from what you just said is like, why the hell aren't we telling kids in high school? Like, college, I'm not saying we're not anti-education, but you don't have to do it right away. University is not the only route. And I hate to say it, but college, university, whatever your setting is, it's not the best place to find that's an expensive ass way to find out what you want to do in life. Right? Like, if anything, it's full of pitfalls and mistakes. And like, yep, I stepped in every pothole and now I figured it out. Like, by that time, like you said, you're beaten down. You're not broke because you never had any money, but you're going to be broke.
I mean, it's not a good way to start.
You're going to be broke.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not a good way to start. And I had learned the credit card system in college as well. You know, and I took that and raked up thousands of dollars. I said I had to get out of it. You know, I don't know what snapped in me, but I just didn't want that much debt on my back, you know, at 19 years old, 18 and 19. It's just too young, you know. So I paid my way through junior college.
Hey, most interruptions and most podcasts are to tell you to do something. One of the things I want to do is just thank you for listening. We really appreciate each and every one of the downloads, and we work really hard to bring the show and find guests and experts who can validate what they're talking about. Keep listening. Thanks again, and stay safe.
Do you have a moment like that you can literally recall, whether it was in class, in the dorm room, like that? I don't know about aha, but just like, or was it a fuck it type moment? Excuse my language, but was it more of I'm done with this because I'm excited about that? Or was it like, I'm just done with this. This is a dead end.
You know, I was in class one day and the teacher was lecturing. I also had a problem with that too. Toledo's a pretty big school and you're not a name, you're an ID number. And I didn't feel a relationship with the professor. So for me, it was kind of easy to just detach. Not to mention all the parties I was going to. I mean, I was partying on a weeknight and then turning around and running the class. So for me, it was just, I think when you come from an abusive household and you go into that, it's very dangerous. You know what I mean? You could really, you know, lose everything in that. And I felt myself going that way. So
you completely lose yourself in this new environment that'll fill you up with all sorts of other stuff, right? And you're 18 years old, like,
my roommate was 22, so she could drink. And
oh man, like that would have. I probably wouldn't have made it through a year if I was in that environment that you're describing.
Drinking, she knew everybody on campus. You know, we get in every party. It was just too much. It was too much. Way too much.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Wow. So you drop out.
Yeah.
What happens next?
I got a job at a barbecue chicken shack. Like, that sounds crazy, but I got a job at a local like barbecue joint. And I just started working and got me a car and met my husband. We moved in together real fast because he also came from an abusive situation. So within a matter of like 7 or 8 months, we were living together already. And then then my brother, who was also dealing with abuse, we had to get him out of his situation. So he lived with us. So it was, you know, I instantly became almost like a mom because we had to take him to school. And, you know, it's just it was crazy.
And we're talking within 12 months. 12 months earlier, you were like in a dorm with a 22-year-old and we're just like partying every night. I mean, real life came at you. I mean, your whole life sounds like unfortunately real, but like, dude, you went from being a college student to like, you worked at a chicken shack. You had rent to pay. Like, I mean, that's... Yeah,
especially because when I came home, my mother said, well, you can't stay here. It was kind of like that mentality. Like, well, since you won't be the golden child that I want you to be or I envision, then you're just cut off. You know, I've learned now that my mom's a narcissist, but I didn't know what that was then. So the love was never there. It was just be what I want you to be or be nothing. So I chose to be nothing. I went ahead with, you know, navigating life on my own, figuring it out. So.
It's really tough to meet somebody else's expectations. Doesn't matter who that person is, how much they love you.
Sorry about that.
So I decided to be the nothing. So now I want to get into your husband. First off, I will say, sounds like, and I don't know anything about him, but just the way you speak about him, like, you guys seem like a really wonderful couple. He sounds like a real strong presence in your life. And I'm sure if he were here, he'd be talking mostly about you. So that's always nice to see that come through sincerely. All right. So you're what? Like, I don't know. I'm thinking early 20s. Let's start getting into when you were like, I think other people will like my shit too. It doesn't sound like you ever were completely void of confidence, but there's a big difference from like maybe giving stuff away or like having people try stuff to like, when did you make that decision to like, I want to do this as a business? Like, this is how I want to start putting food on the table.
I think when I got pregnant in 2006, I knew I had to make a decision then. Like, okay, you're either going to take this serious all the way or you're going to work, because I'm not going to bring a life into the world and not, you know, be able to take care of them. So in 2006, that's when I really got serious. And, you know, people liked it immediately. But we started finally, you know, establishing the business around 06. Yep. When I was pregnant.
Yeah. I think.
Do you mind if I ask? Sorry, Chris, just really quick. Do you mind if I ask, like in 06 when you got pregnant, like, were you still, whether it was the chicken shack or whatever, like, did you still have just like a job you didn't care about and you were doing the clothing and art very much on the side at that time?
I hadn't drawn in a while and I was actually sick. And I was bedridden. So I was pregnant. I had a baby in my belly, couldn't get out the bed, and my husband was going to work and my brother was working. So they were really providing the income for the house. But I was sitting there every day and I felt like I had nothing to do. I went through a depression almost at that point because I couldn't figure out, well, what the hell is my place? What's my purpose? So that's when I got back into the fashion thing, because I had put it down for a couple of years because all of this kind of slapped me in my face and it was like a huge life adjustment. So, you know, once I got pregnant, I had that little time to sit. The first thing that came back up was doing this. And, you know, we had $200 to our name at that time as far as spare cash. And I took it and I bought a laptop. My husband was okay with that. And that's what I did. And I just got busy. Started writing business plans, started learning what the hell a business plan was. They had a template, you know, where I read it and kind of understood how it worked.
Oh yeah.
I just filled it in at first. Right. But, yeah, I didn't have a job at that time. Any money, no purpose, no place. I didn't know what to do. I was lost, you know, but we knew we wanted a kid. So
I overuse it, but I love the phrase. The necessity is the mother of invention.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. When your back's against the wall, I mean, you got to do what you got to do and the strongest survive. And for me, it was just an instant thing, you know, get busy. So
I think I first found out about your clothing company. It had to be around 2009, maybe 2000. Yeah, I think it was about 2009. And I thought it was just so dope. Of course, I still think it's so dope.
Thank you.
But I remember in 2010, I was doing a show at Kent State. I was opening up for this artist, Jay Sean, who was on Cash Money Records at the time. And I just thought, like, I want some local gear. I want something fresh. Like, I want Dani's gear. So I actually have the message that I sent you.
Oh my gosh.
On Facebook. It says, hey, Dani, I'm looking to get a new outfit for an upcoming show. I'm performing with Jay Sean, Cash Money Records, on February 25th. I was hoping to rock some of your gear if possible. Where can I buy some? Do you take credit card? How long for shipping? And I just remember, like, you got back to me, you know, you showed me some stuff, and, you know, we set up a time to meet, and I picked it up, and I had clothes for not just myself, but just like my whole crew that was with me.
Yeah.
And, like, I just really appreciate that.
I remember that.
It was like so cool.
I remember that too.
Yeah.
I think you lived in that apartment, and my husband was in the car with me at the time. Yeah.
Yeah. Cleveland Heights. Yep. Yeah.
I remember that.
So dope.
So when are we talking, you guys? When are we talking?
That was 2010.
Yeah.
2010.
Okay.
We had just landed investment that year. Our first investment. A football player I had met. He said, I like it. I'm just going to write you a check. He wrote us a check for $10,000 on the spot. I just thought that was insane.
So, all right. I don't know where I came across it, but at one point I did come across Darnell Dockett. Is that the football player you're talking
that's
about?
not him.
So
that's one of the guys.
That's not him. All right. Sorry. I'm a big Seminoles fan. So I always followed Dockett. So I was just like, man, at some point, and I don't want to do it right now because we're doing a good job with the chronological path here. I got to figure out how you met, like how you got in with all these NFL guys. But I don't know, was that we got up to 2010 where you're hooking up old neighborhood friends who are coming up just like you are. Like can you take me back to then? Like, you're paying your bills by then with it, or it's still...
we weren't even paying the bills with that money. We used it. We put it all into the brand. But Dante Whitner is the football player that gave us our first investment. Dante Whitner.
Yeah.
Nice.
He gave us $10,000. And
I used to see him at the gym.
Yeah.
He was a beast.
Really?
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, he's a good...
Yeah, and this was when he was like in the league. I was like, yo, what is he doing here?
That's a big... Yeah, the Hitman, right? Wasn't that his nickname?
So, and you don't have to say like what happened with this particular check, but just to give our viewers an idea, someone cuts you a check, you know, $10,000, $15,000. How do you invest that into the brand? So what does that exactly mean? Like what kind of things does that go to?
Like shirt printing. At that time, it went to printing shirts. We were ironing shirts on prior to that, which was a little cheaper. So the $10,000 took us into screen printing. Helped us build a website. What's the other, like marketing, things like that. So it wasn't much, but
it's crazy. It's
thank you. A lot of that I shoot. Stuff like that. Even buying a camera. You know what I mean? Like just little things, whatever the brand needs. That's usually what we put it into. But we've learned that $10,000 isn't a lot at all.
Okay.
Clothing.
Does it go fast?
Yeah, it goes fast. It goes really fast. Yeah. But, you know, I've learned how to cut costs and things like that as the years have progressed. But at that time, we were screen printing all the way in Florida when there were local screen printers here. You know, we just didn't know what we were doing. And that's what's expected when you know, kind of freestyle this whole thing. So, yeah.
I mean, it sounds like it was a really like natural, everyone overuses organic, but like, it sounds like people liked your shit right away. And it's just been escalating since then. And I don't mean to like jump ship there, but other than not knowing exactly what you were doing at the early stages of starting a business, like anyone who starts a business will eventually admit, what were like some of the big stumbles early on? Like, do you have any that right away you're just like, oh yeah, I remember this huge bump in the road?
The main bumps in the road have come with athletes talking about, I want to be on board. And then the next day saying, I don't want to do this anymore. I think it's that because you put, you know, once you get that agreement from them, so to speak, you kind of start building around that agreement. And then when they want to just abruptly cancel, you know, that slows everything down. Dante Whitner was supposed to originally be an investor, and he was supposed to do more than that. I did something that he didn't like, and he cut me off, just like instantly.
Just like that.
Deleted me from, at that time, BlackBerry Messenger.
BBM.
BBM. He just deleted me, deleted all my contacts. I mean, it was just like, what the hell happened? So it slowed us down, and that ended up happening again with another athlete that I guess we'll get to as we progress, because I've worked with so many. But I think that's been the only stumble in the road, because, you know, I have my plan. My game plan is my game plan. When I get the money and I get the actual support, what I do works. You know what I mean? But when these guys come in and they act as if they want to be a part, and then tomorrow they're tired of it, it's a huge setback.
They flake out.
It's a setback.
Now, are people coming to you saying, hey, I want to, you know, get involved with Elusion, or are you kind of approaching them, or is it a little bit of both?
With Dante, it was kind of mutual. He liked the clothes. At first, he was a customer, and then he kind of inquired about how to become an investor and things like that. So that was organic. The second athlete that we work with, it was kind of the same thing. He was a customer at first, and then he wanted to inquire about how to get involved behind the scenes. So I've never, ever asked them for money, because I'm a woman already. And you know how they feel about women, you know, no disrespect, but they feel like women are groupies. So to come and to be married out of respect for my husband, I'm not just asking men for money. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying this episode. But I want to take some time, you know, carve out some space for you, the listener. I'm not sure what's going on in your day, but whatever's going on, let's just take some time to focus on some breathing. Yeah, we're going to do some guided meditation in this break. So I want everyone to take a deep breath for 4 seconds, and we're going to hold it. Breathe in. Hold it for 4 seconds. Exhale 4 seconds. Let's do that one more time. Breathe in, hold it 4. Hold it. Exhale. Yeah. If you need to, repeat that a couple more times. But we're going to get back to this episode. Thanks for taking that time.
I do want to ask you about that, because I think it's important. What is it like to be not just a woman in this industry, but a Black woman who is at the head of her clothing company? Like, what is that experience like?
It is, and I'm going to be honest, it is one of the worst experiences that I've ever gone through in my life. It is. It's hard to be Black, one, to own a brand, because every time you're approached and you're asked, well, they ask you, well, is it like FUBU? Or is it like this or that? And it's nothing like that. And I hate having that box that I'm already put in before I get the chance to even present what I have. Then being a woman on top of that in a man's game, quote unquote, it's extremely difficult. All the way from the bank loans to the investments, just, you know, things that we do. It's extremely difficult for me. Sometimes I have to stand back and hide myself and put my husband out there as the guy to build relationships in certain aspects, because some people just won't respect a woman coming into the room. You know, I'm usually the only woman at the table when it comes to negotiations and things like that. It's extremely uncomfortable, but it's my dream, and I'm not going to give it up just because the road's a little rough, so to speak. But it's definitely hard.
Yeah.
It's impossible to unpack any of that as one of these, you know, dumb white men. It's just it's tragic. And like you mentioned a couple of the specific circumstances that you're in there, and I know they're infinite. And like, I don't know they're infinite, but I can't appreciate all of those things, any of those things that you just mentioned. And like the thought that you have to kind of, I know you don't wear it. I don't gather that you wear it on your shoulder, but you sure as hell have it in your back pocket, because if you don't going into those meetings, then what? You're naive. Yeah. You know what I mean? And like, it's just, yeah, that's just so shitty. Can I ask, and not to change the subject at all, but in the rare occasion when there is another woman involved, and in possibly an even rarer occasion if it's another Black woman involved, do you feel that there is right away off the bat a different experience?
I've never had that, honestly. The only women that you're talking about something that I've never experienced. I wish. Well,
you're the unicorn. Yeah, you're the unicorn.
I am.
Okay.
But the only women that I really deal with in this are like PRs of athletes, or like management of certain companies, corporate companies, things like that. But they're never the head honcho, so to speak. So I'm always by myself. It sucks, but it's reality.
And just to be like clear with our audience here, just in case they don't know, like Dani's clothing is catered towards men. If that hasn't, but that's not what we're talking about here. Like we're just talking about a woman in the world of business. Because to me, like when you mention like clothing and men's clothing, even if it's men's clothing, I don't naturally think of that as being like a male dominated world. And this is my ignorance, but I'll share that. When I think of clothing, I think of designers, right? I don't necessarily think of the CEOs and the people that are making the deals and that are behind the scenes. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's who you're talking about, and that's who you're dealing with regularly. Are the suits? The suits. Like.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you're right. Yep, it's the suits.
Can I ask then a little bit about because you chose to go into male fashion, right? Where did that? And I friggin' love. I'm trying to get better at profanity on the podcast, so I friggin' love and I'm gonna butcher it here, so correct me, please. But like clothing for the confident man, like to me is. I mean, if nothing else, fake it till you make it. But these are the clothes that you either look confident in, and then you'll eventually be confident. And, as a confident man, I love that. Yeah, I wish everyone could feel like I feel most of the time.
That's the goal. You know what I mean? Logos don't make you smile. Logos are for insecure people, in my opinion. That's why we use very little logos on our stuff. We don't want you to buy it just because the logo's on it. We want the message, the mission, all that stuff is what's most important. And we're getting, a lot of good feedback with that. So, and this is the way I wanted to go anyway. So it's not like it's fake. It's not like we're desperate and we're trying to go in a certain direction. This is what I really wanted to do. This is what I envisioned the brand being. And finally, we're living that dream. And it's a good thing. It's awesome. It is.
It always sucks when what you're doing and what you love becomes like trendy or popular, because you want to be like, hold up. I love this shit 10 years ago. Instagram just started posting it, but I've been into this for a long, long time. Skrilla, you got to chime in or I'll just keep going. I got questions for like days.
No, I'm waiting for my spot with you. I kind of want to talk a little bit about some of the, I don't want to say like downfalls, but just some of the mistakes that maybe you made along the journey, because I think we all like learn a lot from our mistakes and they just help us improve and just build us up. Mm-hmm. So what kind of mistakes do you feel that maybe you made in some of the earlier years, or maybe
I make mistakes every day.
There we go.
Like I always do. But I think some of the biggest mistakes early on were financial. Just not knowing that, I could have saved money if I would have went this route instead of going that route. Financial mistakes are the biggest. I still deal with those every day. every day there's an invoice that comes in. It's just like, how much? You know what I mean? But you just got to go through it. So I think that's the biggest thing. I think it's just the money. You make good money, but God, a lot goes out. You know what I mean? You're just like,
you're probably spending a lot of money too.
Yeah, you
right?
are. And it's almost like, and then you find out you could have saved money later on. Oh man, it's a headache, but it's a part of the game. It's a part of the business. So.
What's like a day? I'm sure every day is a little bit different, but take our viewers through maybe, a typical day for you, CEO of a clothing company.
Depends on the day. Sometimes we're at shoots all day. Sometimes we're folding clothes and mailing to customers. It just depends on the day, but it's busy. I'm going to tell you that much. It's busy from when I wake up to even in my bed at night. I'm literally with my phone because the manufacturers that we work with, they're overseas. So it's their daytime when it's our nighttime. So, my husband's so used to it now. He doesn't have a problem with it. But my phone rarely leaves my hand. I'm literally texting people while doing this interview. So it's all day work. It never stops, but you love it because it's your dream. It's your passion. So it doesn't feel like a chore. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. I would do it for $10. You know what I mean? Like, living your dream is priceless. I could have been a computer engineer. I could have been making $90,000 to $100,000 a year, but would I be happy? You know what I mean? That's
not for long.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And when would I have the time to spend the money, making that? The good thing about this is if I don't want to take the day to work, I have that choice. And sometimes I do that. I tell my husband, I'm not doing anything today. And it's cool,
Let's dive into that.
Okay.
I want to dive into that because we talk a lot about mental health on this podcast, and in particular, self-care. What does Dani do for self-care?
Oh, hope I don't sound spoiled when I say all this, but massages.
You should be spoiled. You should be spoiled.
Well, massages. We do have masseuses come over once a week at least.
Oh, they come to you. Oh.
Yeah,
nice.
Mobile masseuses. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
What else do we really do? We game so much. It's almost like vacation for us when we game. So, yeah, and I, we can game for hours. But
But what? Like you'll spend a day gaming? This is a part of my fascination with it. It's like, will you sit down and play for like 8 hours?
See, the Call of Duty beta came out today. The Black Ops, the new game. So I actually said, you know what? We're going to do our work early. We're going to do the podcast. After the podcast, we are gaming till probably about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, we're totally keeping you. You from your self-care.
No.
Man,
not at all. But
you saying wrap it up?
No. But that's what we do. You know what I mean? We just, we game. That's a lot of the self-care that we do. And if COVID wasn't in, it would probably be like basketball games, football games. We go to a lot of sporting events.
Okay.
We travel a lot, which is also slowed down with COVID. We're the type, we'll just go to a random Airbnb for the weekend. We're like that. And that all comes with the freedom of just having your own company. Being able to shut it down and just get up and move whenever you want. So it's a blessing.
And you can do a lot of your work on your phone, right?
Yeah, I've actually been on vacation and have, because we have to contact the manufacturers, the printers, make sure everything's going well, but I can do all that on the phone. So it's a blessing.
To me, that was like, I never knew what the hell I was going to be doing, but the only dream I ever had was to not be going to an office 5 days a week. And then I went to school to become an engineer, and it was like, dude, you know where this is headed? At the end of the road is an office.
My buddy's an engineer
with close walls.
Yeah, he's an engineer now, and he's looking to quit.
Dani, you and again, like I in case anyone doesn't know, and it's way too late, I should have said this really early on. It's Elusion, ELUSION. I should have said that right away because, as people are Instagram and they're like, this is a magician or something. I don't know. But like your feed is fire. Like it's so beautiful. And the clothes are amazing, but you get complimented on those enough. The visuals pop to me, like very much so. And you, as I've noticed, humbly mentioned earlier, you shoot those?
Shoot some.
That's
I
you?
shoot some, yeah.
Okay.
Early on, I shot everything. I'd say 2009 to about 2014. I was shooting everything on my own. Yeah, because I was anal like that. I literally...
You had to do it all, and you're a control freak. Yes, you finally said it.
Yeah, owning your own, you want everything to be right.
Takes one to know one. Takes one to know one. Even if it... Oh, man. So can I go back to, like... Because one of the, you mentioned earlier, right? We're talking about clothing. There's very much a visual attachment to clothing. So in the early days, like, were you just posting stuff? Like, was this like Facebook era? Was that like your original market?
Our original market was MySpace. Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
MySpace was our original market, and I knew computers well, as I mentioned. So I knew how to make the MySpace layout totally different from the traditional. So we were already doing insane stuff then. But yeah, MySpace was the original portal for us. Before we had a website, we had a MySpace page.
So like Dante Whitner found your stuff on MySpace? Was it on that MySpace. Random?
Yep.
Wow. Really?
Yep. On MySpace.
So I'm not giving Dante any credit here, don't get me wrong, but I will give the platform and the beauty of, like, there's a lot of bad things to say about social media, but as an entrepreneur selling goods,
thumbs up.
Man, we got the whole world's at our fingertip. Like, I look at brick and mortars nowadays, and don't get me wrong, if Elusion opens a clothing store, I'm sure it's gonna be the shit. But I look at a lot of brick and mortars nowadays for like people like stuff what I do. They're engineers, and we got 30 dudes in cubicles, and you're just like, that makes no sense to me.
It's so outdated. We had a chance to do a brick and mortar right before COVID, and I said no, and thank God I did, because we'd probably be out of business right now. If we would have took that on. You're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars, to get that done, and for some reason I just said no.
Even in a best case scenario, you're shifting to 100% online through COVID if you have a brick and mortar. So you're just paying rent for nothing. Like you just, instead of sitting on your couch doing all that work, you have to go into some new store and be depressed every single day because the door is not opening.
Put on a mask and everything. And it's, I know a person with a store right now.
It breaks my heart, man.
Yeah, I know a person with a store right now who's struggling. We're talking about 90% sales drop, and they're getting ready to close. They can barely pay the rent, and the rent is in the tens of thousands a month. So it's a struggle. Wow. It's hard.
I live up here on the North Shore, on Oahu, in which it's basically just like a surf town. So most of the stores are either mom and pop shops, like old surf shops, or the polar opposite. You got franchises that can survive here. So the franchises are fine. They shut the doors for 6 months. Who cares? But those mom and pop shops, like, even when it's support local, like the people that own the buildings that they're renting out of, they ain't local, and they're still charging 15, 20 grand. They're still charging the same prices they were when 30,000 people were showing up every day.
The landlords have to get their money too, like they're not going to slow up. So it sucks, man. It's even been a setback for us financially. I'm sorry about that. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine.
But for us, it's been a setback too. I've lost upwards of, I would say, about 25 grand since.
Yeah, that hurts. That hurts.
Yeah. Unless you invested in Zoom, you've probably taken a hit in the last 7 months.
Everybody's,
you know what I mean? Like, I don't know anyone else. In one way, shape, or another, we're all taking a hit.
Yep.
We're going to transition to a happier topic here before we wrap things up here. But I want to show you something. So, first of all, I don't know how long you all just keep clothes around, but I have to say, I still have the original Elusion shirt that I bought. So the viewers can't see it, but I am showing you. It is still in mint condition. I still get this dry clean. And
Wow.
I just wanted to let you know that.
Bro, that's a 10-year-old shirt.
Yes, I know. Look at the colors. They stay in there and everything.
Wow.
I still have it.
Wow.
It is. Listen, I am keeping this with me. It's awesome.
Danny, what does that make? Like, I wanted you to express I'm sorry, but like, what does that make you feel?
Awesome. That's awesome. That is awesome. I did not even know. I can't even remember what we sold, but looking at that, it's like, wow. And it's still in good condition.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Still in good condition. Yeah.
Danny, do you think like 100 of those were made, or 50
probably
of them,
at that
or 10
time,
of them?
probably
Like, I don't.
50. And I don't have any of them, so they're somewhere running around the world.
I've been on a lot of dates. Okay.
I just bought a shirt on eBay that was somebody had that was about that same age. It was about 10 years. And I bought it from the person, and I'm going to frame it because it had the logo on it and stuff.
That's dope. Did they know they were reselling to the owner of? Did you have any back and forth with them, or no? You don't want to.
I just saw it. I said I had to buy it, so I bought it. I'm going to frame it for the office. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what.
God, that is so cool.
I'll tell you what. This shirt has done me well. But if you would like this, you don't have to buy it. But I will give this to you so you can frame it.
Yeah. Because can you fit it anymore?
Oh, I can still fit it. It's still good, but you can have this shirt. Yeah. I guess you can have it back, but
right.
So I'm gonna we'll arrange a time so I can get this to you, and you can add another frame.
I appreciate that.
Office.
Oh my God, I appreciate. And if you could write a little letter, that would be awesome. I'll put that in the frame as well.
I'm pretty good with the pen. I got.
Thank you.
Oh man. Yeah, no, like great, nice transition there, Skrilla. Like because that gives me all sorts of like warm and fuzzies. Yeah. Just the thought of you returning that to its creator. Mm-hmm. Like we've never had an interaction like that on the podcast, so I could tell Danny was at a loss there for a moment. Nowadays, how many when you're pressing shirts? Give me a number. How many y'all press?
Thousands at a time. I think the lowest is like 2,500, depending on what it is. But we try to keep it low to stop the whole, pollution that's going on with the clothes. So we've changed fabrics and things like that to make it a little safer. We're using recycled cotton on a lot of things, organic cotton, things like that. So we're trying to keep the print number down. We're trying to do more on demand. So my goal is to get a little small factory where we can do all that ourselves and just do it when it's demanded. So we don't have to send it to department stores, and because there's a long process if you don't sell your products on what you have to do with them. And so we're trying to lower that, down, which keeps our costs down as well.
That's awesome.
I like that. Danny, you've been so generous with your time and your stories. Some people get on here and it's a little bit more of like, this is what I'm selling. And you were kind enough to be like, this is why I'm selling, which to me is really what it's all about. Your story is, man, we could go on for hours. I know not today because Call of Duty came out, but I could, if given the opportunity, I wouldn't run out of questions. And that's just a really, that's intended as a compliment.
Thank you.
Danny, if you wouldn't mind sharing with our audience a little bit of like, not a closing by any means, but what's the best way to, I don't know if you want anybody reaching you, but I want our audience to find your product. So what's the best way for them to go about that?
The website is the best way. It's www.elusionclothing.com. You can also shop on Facebook and Instagram now. So they have it both ways. If you just enter Elusion Clothing into the search, all of that will come up. So we have, multiple ways of getting to our products.
And that's ELUSION.
Correct.
Elusion.
Correct.
All right.
Danny's paving her own path here. And I'm so grateful she took the time to join us on Convention Not. Y'all know how to find us. Instagram. We don't tweet. We're trying to get better at the old Facebook game, but you're good, girl. Once again, I think I'm going to sign us out. Dani, thank you so much for joining us today. Yeah. Chris, as always, you're the man.
You the man. Peace.